watching in the future will see this part. Everybody else who jumps in will jump in as we go. So we'll get a move on. Tonight, I am rendering a little bit of tallow. I'm also cleaning the kitchen, just post-Shabbat stuff, all that good stuff. And the kitchen's kind of a mess right now, so just bear with me in what it is. Let's see if I can move you guys over here, maybe while I do some dishes. And what I might actually do is, bear with me. Kermode, shalom, bro. How was your Shabbat? Hoot, hooty hoot. What up? So we're gonna render some tallow tonight. I'm also kind of getting some things squared up in the kitchen. Might just play with this tripod a little bit too. There's my ceiling. Oh no, popcorn ceiling. The atrociousness of everything in a house that was built pre-1990. All right, let's see if I can do this without like dropping the phone. You'll bear with me. I appreciate that, Kermode. Humble 33, shalom. It's a hangout now. What's up, guys? Hope you had a good rest. Yeah, me too. Hey, all right, just bear with me a little bit. I'm going to grab a couple of jars. I'm disinfecting a few jars before I end up pouring some tallow that has been in the crock pot for the last couple of days. So hang tight. All right. Clinking glass. Don't drop anything on the floor. Y'all talk quietly amongst yourselves. I know a bunch of you said 5x5, but I assume mic is good. You can hear me clearly, all that good stuff. Absolutely blessed Shabbat. Praise Yah, 100%. It's good. I hope this is enough jars. Otherwise, I'm going to be kind of scrambling a little bit. All right. So just so you guys can come with me for a little bit. Here is the tallow that has been rendering for days. And this is actually the third rendering of that tallow. Run it through cheesecloth, put it in. Guy, shalom. How are you, sir? Yeah, I've run it through cheesecloth. I've poured it in containers to let it cool, and dumped water in so that way like all the particulates could float to the bottom. And this is after cheesecloth straining. So I'm like trying to be as thorough as I possibly can on this. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, I need to wash some jars and then I'm going to put them in the oven so that way I can sterilize them. Because that's the good stuff, you know, just prepper life. You never have enough tallow. So, let's see. Top fans, looks like Kermode, you are the top chatter so far. Those are rookie numbers. We need to pump those numbers up. We got 24 people on here? My goodness. Oh, dropped down to 8 as soon as I acknowledged that. That's the story of my life. Oven's hot enough, so that's good. So I don't know if you guys have ever rendered tallow before, but you should. Like, you 100% should render tallow. What we do is we go to our butcher, and whenever we have family that's butchering a cow, we just say, hey, how much for the fat? And this butcher throws the fat away. So he's like, you just tell me you want it, and I'll bag up as much as you want. And we usually get a couple of trash bags full. And this is the last of the fat from our last butchering. And so what we're doing with this one is just kind of polishing it off before we have another one get butchered at some point. But I like to run 2 crock pots. I'm down to 1 right now because somebody in this house dropped the lid of the other crock pot and it like shattered into gazillions of pieces. Guy, we are well. Yah has blessed us with a beautiful Sabbath, 100%. Are you cut or uncut? I have no idea. Hit the like button if you're cool with a K. If you're not, hit it 3 times. I appreciate that, Kermode. So 12, why are you live streaming right now? I wanted to share with you guys that actually doing things, rendering tallow is like a slept on prepper skill that you should totally have. And then just kind of wanted to hang out. BT Dubs Abomination video dropping Monday. It's 5 hours and 13 minutes. And I may be getting a channel strike for that one. So, you know, not telling you to watch all 5 hours in one sitting, but I don't know how long that video will be up. So that drops Monday at 9 a.m. So just be on the lookout for that one. That one covers sexual immorality and all the things associated with that. All right, so I'm gonna move you guys. So I haven't used this microwave in like 4 months, and neither has my wife, and we're actually talking about getting rid of it because we don't like all the spicy air that the microwave gives off. So we're actually talking about switching to like an air fryer toaster oven combo. Anyway, I've set the oven to 220, so above boiling. The jars still have residual water in them, and they will go in the oven this way, and they'll steam in there for at least 20 minutes. So just so you guys are aware of what we're doing. And here, let's show you guys the oven so that way when I burn myself, it'll be on camera, and that'll be like YouTube gold right there, right? So anyway, listen to that sizzle. These jars were already pretty clean, but they're just getting sterilized, so that way we know the tallow is going into. Set that in there. And these are literally just glass jars that we had left over. We've been buying peanut butter in glass jars lately, and then just anything else we had that came in a glass jar. We wanted the ability to do all the stuff. All right, here we go. Set a timer. Let's do 25 minutes. There we go. All right, now I got stuff to do because Shabbat's over. Right, Mike was hidden by Kermode Bear. What did Mike say that made Kermode want to hide you? Yeah, appreciate that, Kermode. Did you ever boil the jars to sterilize them? So you can. I don't have a stock pot that's a size that I just like. I have some decent stock pots, but it just takes forever. And so I find get the oven above boiling temperature. And then once it's at a high enough temperature, if the jars go in wet, then it basically steams them. And then, you know, as long as it's above boiling, you're good to go. And 20 minutes, 25 minutes, good enough. So. All right, let those kind of air dry for a little bit. What do I want to do? What do you use for the tallow for? So, like everything, makes the primary use that I use it for, my griddle that's outside. I've got a couple of videos where I'm cooking on that. I will scoop up some of the tallow and then I will toss it on the griddle after it's clean. And then like kind of lather it up and have a nice cooking surface on that. Love using it on our stainless steel pans. Wife will mix it up and do different like tallow bombs for things. But it can be used to cook with, lotion, you know, all that good stuff. I mean, you can use it as a lubricant for like a million things. Like I've heard of people like greasing wagon wheels with it, like back in the day. So like it has about a bazillion and one uses for what it's worth. So anyway, let's see. I want to wash that pan because that pan is in need of it. Sean, good to see you. Hello, sir. All right. Yeah. Wash that pan. I also want to probably dry some of these. Let's make some dishwasher space. Anyway. But yeah, I just feel like a bartender just drying glasses, you know? Ugh. So, what have you guys been up to? What do you guys want to talk about tonight? Well, you guys are thinking of fun things to chit-chat about. Let's see. I will drop a shirt link in the description of this video after it is no longer live. Unless Kermode is on the gun and wants to throw the shirt link in there. If you guys want to support 12th C, help me buy some better equipment, all that good stuff. Yes, I do have a gimbal now. Yes, I do have mics, but I didn't have the full amount of money from the shirts to do that. So, me personally loaned 12th C some money. So that way I could just go ahead and purchase it. And then I'm basically paying myself back after I tithe from that money. So that is that. Abomination video dropping, push-up videos are dropping. I've currently been dropping push-up videos about once a week or so, just like batch dropping them and scheduling them out over a little ways. It's just been what it is, because a lot of times I usually end up filming the video right before I go to work or right before I have something else, and I just haven't gotten around to, taking the extra 5 minutes to post them. And I'll just wait for an hour or two that I have free and then just batch post them all and schedule them out. I don't know if that's convenient for you guys or not, but it's what I've been doing, and I'm just kind of playing with posting schedules to see how they go. Nice work on those push-ups. Thanks, Humble33. I appreciate it. My shoulder doesn't hurt anymore, which is super helpful. Currently, the only thing that's hurt right now is my Achilles. So beyond that, it's just getting them done. I would really love to hit goal by 200. Like, I think that's about what I've got in me. Yeah, if I could hit it by 200, that'd be amazing. 250 is kind of like my ceiling of just like, if I don't get it by then, I'm going to start reevaluating some things. You believe your dad used beaver fat to treat leather for snow. That would make sense. I've heard that like beaver fat like has some interesting properties to it, but maybe that's just like strange books that I've read. I don't know. The French hunted beaver almost to extinction. So, it must have been useful to them beyond just hats. Oh, awesome, Kermode. Thanks for dropping that in there. You the man, bro. Humble33. Add one more comment when you're ready. You've been hanging out here long enough. See if we can fix that right now. Maybe is Humble33 going to comment and find out what just happened? Maybe. Who knows? Spin that wheel! I don't know. Oh, not proper flexing or anything, but just saying. How many of those push-ups have I been doing a day, Guy? Minimum, I've been doing what's on film. Minimum. You are welcome, Humble33. Figured it was time that you had a blue hammer. I think I tried to add you as a moderator a while back, and for whatever reason I couldn't, and I don't know what, and I'm sorry that you've just been showing up regardless and you don't get the blue hammer. But anyway, so answering Guy's question, minimum I've been doing the amount that's on film, which usually rounds out to between 10 and 12. Maximum around 100, but those are more rare days. I've been trying to not do a ton of push-ups when I go to the gym. You know, I may squeeze in when I go to the gym a round of Bring Sally Up just to see where I'm at. A lot of times it's more of like doing elevated push-ups to work on the clap technique and see where that goes. I've been noticing that I'm losing a little bit of flexibility and definitely slowing down on the reactiveness speed to actually successfully get the back clap. Sometimes on camera it looks like I'm clapping behind my back when I'm actually not. I have not had a successful back clap on camera probably in about a week and a half to 2 weeks. So that's something that I'm just kind of noticing a little bit. The goal is to not do so many push-ups that I can't do them on camera. So Anna, I do not speak Russian, so. But you are welcome to hang out. Anyway, have you guys seen the new YouTube hype thing that is floating around? So if you haven't seen that, apparently now every account, yeah, I know, Berkey, right? Every account now has 3 hypes per week where they push the hype button, and that basically the smaller the channel is, the more eyeballs that gets the video in front of. So like if you have a channel that has 2 subscribers and you hype the video that person has put out, it's basically telling the algorithm, hey, this video is really worth my time. And if it got like 3 or 4 hypes on there, then it would really boost that video in the algorithm. Whereas like someone like Mr. Beast or whatever, who has like all the subscribers, and you hype his video, it like doesn't care because it's like he's Mr. Beast, you know, kind of a thing. So I am not asking you guys to hype my channel for any reason or anything like that. But if I produce a video that you like and you decide to hype it, thank you in advance. And if it's like 12, bro, you need to figure out how to actually make good videos, rebuke received. I understand. Working on it. Also have a life, so there's only going to be so much quality that I put into it. If I can't do it on my phone and I can't do it relatively quickly, you know, and it's not a Bible video, then probably not gonna get a ton of effort put into it. I think you guys will appreciate, you know, I know YouTube dying isn't any fault of mine, but that being said, like just because it's a dying platform, my channel's still growing, so we'll see where this goes, and it's just reps and sets for wherever until we pivot. And you know, I've got an X account, I've got an Instagram account. I won't do TikTok. I'm not gonna do Facebook. More social medias will come. I'm really not interested in Rumble. Like I haven't even downloaded the Rumble app. Like I've watched a couple of videos on Rumble and I just don't care. So if I ever figure out X may be next in my list, but it is what it is. But yeah, channel's growing. We're, as of now, we're at 467 subscribers right now. And that's, you know, it's not nothing. It's not like stupid fast growth by any means. Watch Stay Flexy on YouTube. I am very familiar with Stay Flexy. He's got some good stuff. On Instagram, Leo Moves has got some pretty good stuff. And yeah, it's just moving. I'm, especially since my Achilles is hurting so bad, I have really been trying to stretch and self-massage more, just to maintain some limberness. And like, I'm not 18 anymore, so being in my, you know, 30s, stretching matters more now than ever, and it will only matter more than ever the older that I get. So yeah, Stay Flexy's got some good stuff. There's a couple other channels that I follow, and it just kind of depends on what's what, but doing like fitness-ish type stuff. Dano, shalom. Yeah, doing fitness-ish type stuff. I kind of have to keep my pulse on at least the more popular fitness fluencers. But oh yeah. Anyway, this abomination video that's dropping on Monday. So like I said, I may get a channel strike for this one because it's on sexual immorality. So you put 2 and 2 together on what subjects we will broach. But that video is 5 hours and 13 minutes long. I highly recommend watching that at a faster than 1 speed. You know, if you are good at listening at speed, then 2x is very palatable on that video. If you are not a speed watcher for any reason, you should be able to listen at it at 1.5 without any issues. It's slow paced enough that I don't think a 1.5 watch speed is really going to hurt any of you guys. Any tips for bicep work? Richard, my biceps are not what I want them to be, so I don't know that I'm the dude to ask about bicep. I mean, here's my right one, which is more of a dominant arm. I'm not much of a bicep dude. Like, I know guys who, like, all they do at the gym is curls, and they've got biceps bigger than my thighs. I'm not the dude to ask about that. I'd say curls, protein, and sleep, and I'm lacking on sleep. So, and I don't do a ton of curls. So, for what that's worth, I guess I'm doing all right in my old age. Everyone thinks I'm 25 to 30. Yeah, Kermode, that's a good thing when people think you're younger than you really are. Anyway, back on this abomination video. I stitched clips in of me reading off of the Bible app, or actually Blue Letter Bible app, screen recording on that, and it took forever. So I hope you guys enjoy that video, because instead of staring at the top of my bald head like this the whole time, you will actually be seeing text on screen that you can read along with. Hopefully you've got your Bible, but you know, you may not for whatever reason, because you may be doing other things. But I would highly, highly recommend, if you are watching that video, I would speed it up just a little bit. I'd go ahead and click on that settings gear up in the top, and you know, change the viewing speed. If you've got YouTube Premium like I do, which is actually is worth the money. I'm just telling you right now, no ads, and I can shut the video off, you know, close my screen and listen in the background, or I can drop the video into a smaller tab window and then do other things on my phone while stuff's going on. Is stupid helpful, like stupid helpful. So, you know, I'm just plugging it because it's nice to not have the ads. And then I can speed up my videos to 4x speed if I have to when I'm watching stuff, which is a little hard to follow, but 3x is like, I like listening at speed. So I'm just telling you guys, if you want to be able to listen faster than 2x, paying the, what is it, $14 a month or whatever for YouTube Premium may be worth it to you, especially with no ads. And then the creators you watch will actually get a bigger piece of the pie than whatever you personally generate in ad revenue of watching, because you'd have to watch, I think you'd have to watch ads straight for, I think, 100 hours a week to even begin to approach what YouTube Premium will pay ad revenue out of what you do. So it's like the creators you watch will actually get more money for you watching them. So it's worth it, I think. Let's see. I don't know how to sleep. I had all day to sleep and I slept 3 hours. That sucks. Richard, pull-ups and push-ups. Yeah, I think guys got a point, pull-ups and push-ups. And I would say, so technically your pull-ups are when your hands are like this, and your chin-ups are when your hands are like this. And chin-ups are gonna do more bicep and marginally a little bit of front shoulder, which as you can see, I don't have. So tells you how many chin-ups I do. Also, occasionally throw on the bio too, probably start getting checks from APAC. Yeah, maybe. Thanks for the input, fellas. Yeah, for what that's worth. And I'm not the dude to ask like how to grow certain muscle groups. Like I just go out and do stuff. Like I am not worried about perfect form. I am not worried about top speed. I'm not worried about like peak performance or anything. Move your body like that. you're not a star athlete. So get off the couch, dust the Cheetos off your fingers, and go exercise. And it is more important that you do it than you do it 100% correctly, because form will follow as you are like getting better at doing things. And then it's like, okay, I start changing my hand positioning. I start, okay, I'm going to go a little bit deeper on this rep, so that way chest is to the ground. I'm going to go all the way out, and then I'm going to round my back when I get to the top of the push-up. Beginners don't start there. Beginners start moving, and then you course correct. Just think about when you were learning to drive. You were a terrible driver. You got better with time, hopefully got better with time. Some of you guys can't drive. I'm just saying that right now. But let's see. So when you say abominations, are you also spiritually religion type of channel? Yes. So Richard, my channel is faith and fitness, basically. It's called the 12th C conditioning, and there are 12 C's of survival. So I'm kind of a little bit of a, one of those crazy prepper dudes. But what I aspect to people is you should be doing stuff. Like, instead of being in your basement and, like, oh, when the world ends, it's like, realistically speaking, like when your town gets destroyed by a tornado, like that's the emergency that you're going to go through, statistically speaking. And fit people are more useful and harder to kill. So it is better that you are fit in every way possible. That's not just physical fitness, that is that you are physically able to use your gear, that you can put your rucksack on and actually move with it, that you can pick up your knife and actually use it, that it is sharp, you know how to sharpen it, that you know how to, use the cordage that you have, you know how to do those things. Incorporated in conditioning includes having the heart set, mindset, spirit set to be able to survive the world. And so faith is incredibly entangled in everything that I do. And so I am a person of deep faith. I'm not perfect by any means whatsoever, but I do encourage people to seek the Father. I know him as Yahweh, but if you know him as God, that's fine. Like, same person, that in which we call a rose by any other name would smell just as sweet. And in that, I encourage you to seek him, everything you got, get to know his son. Yeshua, Jesus, awesome dude. He's one with Father. That is the coolest part of it all, is that it is a mystery that we cannot explain, but I and the Father are one, is what Yeshua says. And so get to know him, because by getting to know him, you get to know the Father. And it will indwell you with the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, and read the Word. Like, get in Scripture and read it, and then apply what you learn. So when you say, I already read that one, that's cool. I inherited a couple of acres of my dad's land, and that's well on. It's kind of bug out option. If it ever hits the fan, definitely have more to learn though. I'll subscribe. I appreciate that, Richard. That means the world to me that you're willing to subscribe. Stick around. You might learn something, or you might be like, that guy's full of it. Either way, let me know in comment sections. I appreciate it. Crazy awesome prepper dude. Yeah, like, realistically speaking, most preppers are just like, it's, basement dwellers, realistically speaking. Like, if you can't do stuff, you can't do stuff. Timer's going to go off in 4 minutes, and then we get to pull these jars out, and we're going to start rendering some tallow. Or actually not rendering tallow, because we've been rendering it for a hot minute. We're going to actually start pouring tallow into jars. But I just started going back to church 2 years ago. Something I worry is focus on being a Presbyterian than a Christian, though. Sometimes I worry I'm too focused on being a Presbyterian than a Christian, though. Yeah, I have a relative who is a Presbyterian minister, and I've relatively gotten along with most Presbyterians that I know. I mean, there's little stuff here and there, but realistically, like, you serve God, you know Jesus, we can get along. Like, everything else, we can have the debates, but yeah. So Richard, I've got a long series that's unfolding right now, that I'm going through every abomination that's in Scripture. because a YouTube pastor that I really like named Mike Winger, he answered a question on abominations that he's normally very, very thorough in his answers. And this one was like kind of an off the cuff. And he's like, well, this word and this word are two different words. And so even though they're both translated abomination, it's like, bro, there's a lot more to it than that. Like, I really wish you had gone into it a lot deeper. And so I did this whole spreadsheet thing where I cataloged every abomination that's in scripture, what Hebrew and Greek word it is, why, and like really, really like hashed it out. And we're several videos deep into that right now. And did the abomination of like different dietary animals that you could or could not eat. Did that several weeks ago, and the one on sexual immorality is about to drop. And then in a few weeks, I'll be posting one on idols and different idols that are abominations, idol worship, idolatrous practices, things like that. And we'll move down the list eventually. And what is so fascinating in the whole abomination thing is, people like to get bent out of shape about certain things being called abominations in scripture. And it's like, our definition of sin, like, is not in line with what Yahweh, God's definition of sin is. Because charging interest is an abomination. And like, if you've got a mortgage, you're paying interest. So like, an abomination is being done to you if you are paying interest. If you have a car loan, you're paying interest. Like, it's any type of debt that we have in modern society that's going, and like, that is so slept on that people like just accept it as a fact of life. It is what it is. 1 minute until this, I'm about to say an alarm, but until this timer goes off, and then we're going to start working on a few things. And hey, look, I have basically the top half of the dishwasher unloaded. Okay, once it's jarred. Yeah, Humble 33, I got you. All right, so we are gonna go ahead and turn that timer off. Don't need it any louder in here than it already is, because my yak jaw is plenty loud. Hey, and I still have a decent amount of battery. You guys might actually get to see me pour some tallow. That'll be good. The worst part of this is going to be doing it on camera, because I don't want to bump the camera and then make it fall and do all the stuff. All right, goes up there. Okay. Let's see if we can. Flip that around. Maybe. Actually do what we're gonna do and not fall. Okay. That over there. Pay no attention to the mess in the kitchen. Ah! My wife baked bread the other day. Oh my gosh. It's so good. Just put those away, give myself every advantage possible. Okay, jar coming out. Hot. Jar coming out. Key is to do this without dropping any of them. One time I burned my arm pulling one of these out. Ah! Therefore, I rent until I have enough cash. I understand that. I just don't like paying somebody money on something that's not mine. hope that these are enough jars. Okay. There we go. Sterilized. So we have some sterile jars. Yeah. I just read Psalm 137, verse 9. It's rough. I've read all of the Psalms before. I always forget about that verse. It's always about asking the Father for vengeance upon enemies, an eye for an eye. Yeah, 137.9 is there. 23 and 24 out of 139 is what kind of lives with me. Examine me and know my heart. Test me and know my thoughts. See if there's any wicked way in me and lead me in the way you set long ago. Found out as long as I'm cooking, I can have a fire. So considering getting rid of the stove. Yeah. Right. Basically the same thing as a loan. That's an old idea. Eye for an eye. Going back to Hammurabi's code. Yeah, it's also in scripture. It's not just in Hammurabi's code. What's nice about the eye for the eye thing is, as barbaric as it sounds, it limits how far you can go, because if somebody done messed up Aaron, then they can only receive back whatever was initially done. You can't escalate it further. So as awful as that sounds, it was very progressive for the time. All right. Let's see if, yeah, that one's going to be tricky. But if we hold it, it might work. Okay. Yeah, that'll probably work. All right. Then I'm going to stick that there, and we're going to go get some cheesecloth. I'll be right back. Cheesecloth for the win. All right. It's actually a pretty great insight about limiting vengeance. Yeah. Like I said, it was progressive for the time. All right, so this is the, you can pick this up, cheesecloth, on Amazon for like $10. You get 2 of them. And then, yeah, it's like the 100 grain weave, so you can kind of see through it. I don't know. I'm not pretending to be a cheesecloth head, but hey, live with 12th. Shalom, I'm heading to bed, so drive by, thumbs up. 100% JS Genesis, understood. Happy shall he be that taketh the dasheth thy little ones upon the stones. Oh yeah, I've read that verse, Tano. I don't have deep insight on that, so. All right, so I've got it doubled on one cloth and I've got it quadrupled on the other. So this should be a pretty tight weave render. Got some water in there, and that's part of it. All right, where's my handle? There it is. One. So just threw all the fat in there. I pulled a big strainer and strained out all the huge chunks. Threw those in the cheesecloth and squeezed out the liquid fat in that. And then run it through the cheesecloth once, pour it in a big container, dump, I don't know, 2-3 cups of water in that big container, let it all solidify, and then pop it out, drain the water, slice off the bottom so that way all the impurities have, kind of floated down to the bottom, and hopefully most of them went into the water. Rinse it off and then toss it back in. and leave it go for 12 to 24 hours. And then once you've done that, you just kind of wash, rinse, repeat. All right, ladle, 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 instead of dreidel. But hey, you know. All right. And that cheesecloth is just a filter. It's really about all it is. I don't know if you can see that on camera or not, but $10 worth of cheesecloth is 100% worth it. I used to do it through tea towels, and there is a quality difference. Loud, loud, loud. Making beef tallow, 100%. I'm gonna hit the hay. I understand, Richard. Thank you much. Appreciate you chilling with us for a little bit. Oh yeah, dude, this is like this right here is why I triple render. That first rendering, it does not come out this clean. Like I probably don't even need to strain it this time, but you know, it is what it is. So, all right, let's do this. Just that way it is. It's still warm. Okay. And before I do that, let me save myself some of the mess. All right. Because yeah, I have a whole bunch of it sitting right here now. So I don't really know that I saved a ton of mess, but it is what it is. What is convenient about this is you can let it harden and then just scrapes right off. So not the end of the world. But I'm not trying to save every last drop because I got this beef fat for free. It's just the sweat equity that I have in it, which really, it's once you get it in the crock pot, it's pretty hands off. So not that big of a deal. Let's do a big one. And the goal is when you've got the lid off, you put it on while it's hot. Or when you just pour it, you put it on while it's hot. So when you do that, you get a really good seal on it. So that's that one. Let's move on to the next one. Look at that. That's 2 jars right there. Okay, I think I can hit some of the remainder of that one. No, that's the worst part about these Smuckers ones is those lids are all different sizes. All right, let's seal that one. And yeah, I know I can do the whole hot water bath and seal those that way. You'd be amazed how well, like with how clean that tallow is. Once I get the lid on there real tight while it's hot, dude, it's an airtight seal once I get that done. So I haven't had a problem. It'll store for 6, 8, 10 months without going rancid on me. So 0 complaints. All right, let's get these bad boys back in here. Do you guys have any questions on what I'm doing? So, let's see, looks like good and smooth. Yeah, it's wrench well done. Should cool to perfection. Spoke too soon. Bit slower, liquid tension makes it squirt around the spout. Yeah, I understand that. So, just takes practice. This is probably, I don't know, maybe we attempted to render tallow once and it was a disaster. And that's when I kind of learned through ruining one batch that 3 renderings is kind of key, and you pretty well should use the cheesecloth. It's better than the tea towels. So we used that tallow to make candles. And then did another rendering, I don't know, a while ago, and that lasted a while. This is, I don't know, either my 3rd or 4th, like, really good successful rendering. And primarily cooking is what we use most of this for. It has pretty well replaced all of our cooking oil except for butter. And I like to use it on my griddle. So I'll do 2 layers. I'll do one when I'm cooking, and then I'll clean it, and then I'll put a fresh one on there to like be a protective coating. So that way it stores outside without issue. You know, obviously have a lid on it and a grill cover when I'm not using it, but. Oh yeah, I think I have enough jars. Definitely, since I'm only doing 1 crock pot full. Last time I had 2 and the other one was way bigger than this one, so definitely need to replace the lid on that one that broke, especially if we butcher another cow soon. All right, so let's strain this. And yeah, there are some particulates in this, so we'll be grateful for this cheesecloth. But yeah, I find 2 cheesecloths doubled over to where you get between 4 and 6 layers. That's effectively filtering what you're doing. Comes in super, super handy. Yeah, look at that. Rendering the tallow is kind of like walk with Shua, being refined. Other uses fathers will. Yeah, no, you're good. You're allowed to be ADD. Practice does make permanent. All right. Yeah, pour a bit slower. Already read that one. Guilty I do. My coffee pot. Getting impatient waiting for caffeine. Yeah. Like I said on my last live stream, bro, creatine, like double or triple up on the creatine. It works better than caffeine, especially because you get immune to caffeine anyway. So. All right. Let's see. Let's see if we can. This is going to make a mess. Oops. That is very full. Very full, very full, very full. I don't know, I may just spill some of that just to... Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. The lid on that while it's still hot. All right, there it is. All right, that's that one. Let's do some more. Yeah, I'm only wasting like all of the tallow. So, like I said, it was free, so I'm not gonna complain. It's just the sweat equity. That one doesn't look too bad. Let's see if we can get that on there. I've got too much tallow on my hands to scroll down, so y'all just talk quietly amongst yourselves, I guess. So I was so tired for when Shabbat started last night that I fell asleep putting my kids to bed. So, like, fall asleep reading a book to your kids, and your kids feel so bad for you that they put themselves to bed. All right, here we go. See if I can not get too overzealous with that one. There we go. That's not too bad. All right. So. I mean, that's good tallow. You can see plumb through it. It's a nice wheat straw color. It'll turn white as it... I mean, this one's been settling for a little while. So it just gets lighter and lighter and lighter. I mean, good stuff right there. I'm sure someone's going to hop into the chat late and be like, is that moonshine? Like, no, it's not. Let's see if I can... Yeah, I think that's a little overzealous. There we go. That's better. I have a hankering to just pitch what else is left because there's some water in that. I don't know if you guys can see this, but right, I don't know, you really can't see that too good, but there's some water that's bubbled up right there in the bottom. And I have a hankering to just pour and see if I can get that to stay. But as soon as I see it moving forward, I know you really can't see this on camera, but stop. Okay, there. So everything else that's in that is stuff that I don't want in my tallow. Yeah, I'll do that. There we go. But yeah, that was some water that made it through. All right, let's seal this one because I forgot to do that. There we go. Okay, I probably have 3 jars left. Maybe not even that. I may have 2 left. Okay, let's see. Just unplug that. It's not as hot as I thought it was going to be. Okay, that's that. Set that there. And let's strain. Next time I render tallow, I will try to do like live streams all the way through. So that way you guys can see what's what. Okay. Yeah, get that. And yes, it's hot. Like, it's melted fat. Like, it's hot. Just lowest possible setting on your crock pot and fingers that can handle the heat. Like, that's about all I have for you on that. And if it's too hot for you, barbecue tongs. Grab those and it'll help you twist. But that was a pretty low heat. So I usually start with a lot higher on the first rendering, and then I kind of work my way down. So, but you want the steam to exit. That's one of the most important things. All right, so you guys see how cloudy that is in there? That's stuff we want to avoid. So it's actually gonna behoove me a little bit to, will my trash can open with my tripod? I don't know. Hey, look at that. It did. It's actually gonna behoove me to let this sit for a minute so that way I can continue settling to the bottom. So, dish soap, dish soap, dish soap, cut through the fat. All right. Okay, my hands are actually clean enough to check and see what you guys have been saying. Lone Star Living, shalom, good to see you. No, it's not moonshine. It's tallow. Gabriel, here for your push-up videos. Or here from my push-up videos, yeah. Good to see you, Gabriel. Rendering tallow. High quality H2O. Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit. Tallow, Lone Star. I know I was making his joke a reality. The title of the video even says tallow, LOL. Perfect amount of jars. Actually, I'm a little over, so we'll see how this goes. But all right, so this has been sitting for a little while now, and you can start to see that separation in the bottom. I want to leave it sit for just a little while longer. So I'm gonna and Lone Star Living, I know it says tallow in the video description, but how do you want to bet, or how much do you want to bet that there's a whole bunch of people who didn't even read it? So, all right, let's see if we can clean up some of this mess. But who knows? We'll just see where it goes. But glass stove top, just take a razor blade and scrapes right off. That is the best part about this. So, All right. There's that. All right, that's unplugged, so I can get this out of the way. You guys can see tomatoes that my wife has been growing. And it's really about the only thing that's successfully grown this year for us is our tomatoes. Just about everything else has been... All right. Like I said, pay no attention to the messy counter. All right, that's settling better. All right, and this is my probably dirtiest jar. And this is probably my cleanest jar over here. So what I'm gonna do is this jar and this jar are gonna be the first ones that I use. This one right here is probably gonna be my longest term storage one, or will be a gift to a friend. This one right here is pretty clean. This one right here is very clean, so that one will be a long-term storage jar for sure. You know, we're going to get into stuff like this where it is less clean, less clear. Yeah, that one's probably long-term. That one's long-term. Yeah, so... So the dirtier the tallow, the shorter the lifespan on it. Now this, what I'm doing is probably, I don't know, if I had done this quality for my first one, I would have been thrilled with it. But I don't know. It's just kind of a learning experience. Yeah. See, and I'm getting some of that water. Yeah, some of that water is going in here, so. Here, just so you guys can see, there's a color difference right in there at the bottom. If you see those lines, that the darker stuff, that's water that's in here. It moves different, it acts different. Here, if you look now that I've swirled it, there's actually bubbles that's in it. That's indicative of water. So, I mean, it's clean water, but it's still... Okay, yeah. Pretty much that's that. So I'm gonna just dump that in here and be done with that. So because these two are my dirtiest, these two will be the ones that get used first. So there's not really gonna be time for it to go bad. When I use tallow, I always use a clean utensil to dig stuff out. If that utensil ever touches anything else, it gets put away. And whatever my current use jar is, I store it in the fridge. So like it's just gonna store for a hot minute like that. My jars that are not current use, they just get stored at room temperature out of the sunlight, and I don't really have any problems. This much tallow, this is 8 jars of various sizes. And this would, I don't know, at the rate that I go through, because I grill on that grill at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. These would last me, I don't know, a month and a half to 2 months on a jar. Isn't unrealistic. Maybe one of these bigger jars you might get 3 months out of. but that's my worst one out of the batch, which is not too shabby. Actually, I'd say this one's the worst one, which some people consider that good. So, you know, that right there, that's darn near perfect. It's just got a, you know, Azure standard label on there that's been ripped off in the dishwasher, but you know, clarity wise, let's just see in there. Like that's some high quality H2O right there. All right. We'll leave those to cool because I really won't do much with those until I got a Sharpie. See my pit here while I do that. I'm gonna mark that one and that one just so I know what's what on those. And here we'll do let me wash my hands and I'll grab my phone, show you the fruit of our efforts. All right. Towel, towel, towel. Here we go. All right. Chemtrail free cloudy. I appreciate that. All right, so there's, you know, and you can see some color difference in there. Actually, I'm going to say that one probably better than that one. So do that. Ooh, not too bad. It's not too bad. Yeah, I'd say clarity-wise, those are going good. Okay, look at that. If that label wants to come off, that label can come off. But we're doing decent. Jaden. Shalom. Does pickle jars. No, those aren't pickle jars. Peanut butter for most of them. Azure standard, I think one of them was honey, I think. So we will progress over, how do I want to do this? Just the full 360 tour of the kitchen, I guess. Get you here while I do dishes. Cool. Hopefully not drop the phone in the water. Yeah, do that. That's better. All right, cool. So I really don't know what to talk about. Let's get, yeah, good skincare. Almost perfect amount of jars. Yeah, I actually had 2 more jars than I needed, Humble 33. Yeah, I really don't know where you guys want to go with this. Give me a topic. We'll shoot the breeze while I do dishes. This works a lot better if you guys participate a little bit and be like, oh, hey, let's talk about this. We just have dead air. The endurance of the saints. Well, the saints are enduring me right now while I'm doing dishes and so a kid's book that my kiddos have been enjoying a lot in the past. John Cena, that wrestling dude who bows down to China and no one's ever seen before, he apparently wrote some Demolition Derby monster truck books. And they're quite funny. It's called Elbow Grease. And you can actually listen to the audiobook for the first one on YouTube for free. And John Cena himself reads it, although you won't see him in the video. And he's like an electric monster truck. And he's the smallest, and like he's not too good at really anything, but the one thing he's got is gumption. And so he is, just good at keeping on. And like he's just very determined all the way. So kind of very little engine that could. And I read the book to my kids in like a WrestleMania announcement voice. It was like, John Cena, elbow grease versus Motozilla. And my kids love it. So that's been fun. I've read the entire book to them that way before. And like when John Cena reads it, he's just like very, very chillax the whole way through. For what that's worth. Not necessarily endorsing John Cena, but the kids' books are fun. We've also, just enjoyed different kids' books all the way through. The illustrated children's Bible that TJ recommended on his Patreon live stream, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, maybe more than that now. This one right here, that is a heck of a kid's Bible. Like, it's obviously not like the full Bible, but my goodness, is it probably the most detailed kid's Bible that I have ever seen. The illustrations are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I don't know who drew all of these, but this had to take forever. This is Deuteronomy 31 and 32. This is Deuteronomy 33 and 34. This is the spies going to Jericho, Joshua 1 and 2. That's crossing of the River Jordan in Joshua 5. Like, that's walls of Jericho in Joshua 6. Keeping a promise, Joshua 9 and 10. I think that one's Achan's sin, if I recall correctly. Deborah and Barak, so that jumps all the way to Judges. So 4 and 5. Gideon, let's see. More Gideon. Jephthah, so like kids' Bible that actually includes Jephthah. Samson, Ruth. So yeah, it's not like verbatim the Bible or anything, but it's like, find me another kid's Bible that, like children's, like young kids' Bible that actually has that much scripture in it. So it's good. Let's see. 12C, thanks again. Great work. Keep it up. Gotta head to bed. Understand. Good night. Wow, that book though, yeah, 100%. Like that, you're looking for a kid's Bible. That's the one. Haven't found one that is better. There's a couple other ones that we have that we like, but that one's good. What's the thoughts on these new AI Bible videos? I don't like them. Really don't like them. I'll click on some because they don't look like AI, and then all of a sudden you realize it is. I like digital Bibles. I have a lot on my phone, but I'm still skeptical of them. Paper Bible is what I try to spend the majority of my time reading, because I'm convinced that any of the digital stuff, like, they're going to slowly start changing things. So an AI Bible video, I'm very wary of them. The crazy thing is they're already making AI videos of like famous pastors saying things that they've never said before. So that is part of it. But yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to be on camera or not. Okay, cool. I don't blame you for not. I'm gonna continue doing stuff, but not on live stream anymore. You guys go do hard things.